Okay, today we're going to talk about the slope between 2 points. So we went over standard form and we went over y-intercept form, and now we're going to talk about how to find the slope if we're not given a y-intercept. So if we're given 2 points on a graph, we can count the slope. So let's go ahead and plot these 2 points. 1, 2. So that point. Remember when we plot points, we go over and then up and down, where when we're counting slope, we go up and down and over. But to plot points, we go over and then up and down. So there's our first point, and then 4, 5. Okay. So there's our 2 points. And we can go ahead and draw our line through our 2 points. Okay. So now we can count the distance between the points. Okay. So I'm going to go up first and then over. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. So plus 3 over 1, 2, 3 plus 3. So my slope then would be 3 over 3, or 3 divided by 3 is just 1. We could also write it as 1 over 1, or if we needed to, -1 over -1. So that's how we would find our slope if we have a graph with points on it. But what happens when we don't have a graph? Well, no worries. We have a formula. And the formula to find the slope when we're given 2 points without a graph is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's check out the steps involved. So the first thing I like to do is label the points x1, y1, x2, y2. So this would be x1, y1, x2, y2. The second step then would be to plug that into our formula. So again, our formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we would plug in y2, which is 5. Oops. Sorry. 5 minus y1 which is 2 over x2 which is 4 minus x1, which is 1. Okay? So we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we just subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 over 3 equals 1, which is exactly what we had up here. Same slope. Okay, so those were the steps. So we labeled our coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2. plugged in the values, and then solved. So let's try a couple more. Okay, I'm going to label my points. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Again, my formula is Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. And I'm just going to plug in my values. So my Y2 is 5 minus my Y1 is 4 over my X2 is 3 and my X1 is 1. 5 minus 4 is 1 and 3 minus 1 is 2. So my slope is 1 over 2. Let's look at this one. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Plugging into our formula. I always write the formula again, Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. And when we plug it in, we get 9 minus 4 over 7 minus 2, which is 5 over 5. And we can reduce that. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So M equals 1. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. 23 minus 22 over 20 minus 10. 1 over 10. Okay, so that's when we have positive X1s, Y1s, X2s, and Y2s. Things get a little bit tricky when we throw in a negative. So let's look at this one. So let's go ahead and label X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Okay, I can see already that I have a negative, so I'm going to use parentheses when I write this. 4 minus parentheses, negative 2, over 4 minus 1. Because what will happen if you don't use parentheses is you will just assume it's 4 minus 2, and it's not 4 minus 2, it's 4 minus negative 2. So 4 minus negative 2 is 6, and 4 minus 1 is 3, and we can reduce that to M equals 2. Okay, so again, X1, Y1, X2, Y2, Y2 minus Y1, X2 minus X1. I'm going to use parentheses every single time I have a negative. So I'm going to have negative 3 minus parentheses negative 7 over negative 2 minus parentheses negative 1. Negative 3 minus negative 7, and just use your calculator so you don't get mixed up. But negative 3 minus negative 7 is 4, and negative 2 minus negative 1 is negative 1. So my slope is negative 4. Or if we were to graph it, we could keep it as 4 over to negative 1, or even negative 4 over 1. Okay, let's look here. x2, oopsie, should be x1, x1, y1, x2, y2. I have 0 minus 0 over negative 1 minus 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. And negative 1 minus negative 1 is negative 2. M equals, put that in your calculator, 0 divided by negative 2. Zero. So that means our slope is 0. So what did we learn yesterday about a 0 slope? A 0 slope is going to be a horizontal line, and it's going to go through the y-intercept, or the y-axis, I'm sorry. Okay. That's it. Those are your notes for today. And then please let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and do the practice worksheet. And I would stress labeling your x1, y1, x2, y2. It's going to help you when you plug it into the formula. So try that and let me know if you need help.